Welcome back to Systems of Scale. I'm Ian Gatsky. Today's conversation is with Kary Oberbrunner. Kary is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author and the founder of Instant IP and Igniting Souls, where he helps creators publish, protect, and promote their intellectual property. If you're a coach, course creator, author, or founder who has ever built a framework, a deck, a methodology, or a brand, this episode is going to make you think differently about your intellectual property and how you might be leaving it exposed in the world of AI. We talk about what getting locked out of your own ideas actually looks like, how protection can increase your confidence and creativity, and what to protect first if you want to scale without losing control of the things and ideas that make your business valuable. Kary was also generous enough to share a free credit for Instant IP to all listeners, so you can protect your first idea for free. So if that's relevant to you, check out the show notes for the link. And now, here is Kary Oberbrunner. Kary, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Super excited.
Absolutely, me too. So, one of your big worlds is the world of IP. And a lot of creators today think that the big risk is people just copying their ideas, kind of taking their frameworks and selling something similar. But you have said that the real danger is getting locked out of your own ideas. What does getting locked out of your own ideas actually mean in practice, especially in this AI world that we live in today?
Basically, when you say that people have IP, they won't admit it, but a lot of people immediately go into imposter syndrome. And they think, oh my gosh, I'm not whoever. I'm not Taylor Swift. I'm not Nike. I'm not Apple. And they think I don't have IP. And that's first of all where I start, because if people don't understand that they have IP, the rest of the conversation doesn't even make sense. So what people fail to realize, like, there's tons of IP, even you and me right now, like Riverside, we're on here, right? There's a logo, there's proprietary processes and technology. You have a microphone in front of you, you have headphones, all of these have logos, utility patents, design patents, like trademarks. There's so much stuff. Once you record this episode, it's technically an unregistered copyright. Okay. So like there's so much behind the scenes. It's almost like the Matrix if people are old enough to know what that is. But it's like all behind the scenes, but we don't see IP. And a lot of times when I talk to Gen Z people, they're like, yeah, our generation doesn't care about IP. And I say, really? So Mr. Beast, like if you basically copy his logo, if you copy all of his scripts, like he's not going to care. His lawyers aren't going to care. Really, you can scrape all of his YouTube and turn it into a book. He's not going to care. Like Kylie Jenner, like you just start going down the list and everyone starts, they're like, okay, all right. So
Yeah.
So what I want to tell people, first of all, is like intellectual property is anything that differentiates you, which literally, I'm not even kidding, is your face. Like NIL, name, image, likeness, like your face is technically IP. And if you don't believe that, go ahead, steal somebody's identity, start posting things, and pretty soon you're going to hear from them. Okay.
Yeah.
So NIL, website, and any type of brochure, if anybody has ever posted online, anything, image, video, text, that's IP. And so now the question is, okay, well, should I protect it? Do I have to protect it? Well, what we're seeing now is we're seeing that everyone's using AI. And so AI is technically going out. It's been trained on IP. Like I no joke, court case in front of me called the Anthropic lawsuit, $1.5 billion. And they stole 500,000 authors' books and trained AI on it. Like people don't realize like AI had to be trained on people's IP. So they either paid for it or they stole it. And if you think, well, that was just a one-off, okay, I've had 3 of my books stolen from Claude, Anthropic. I had 6 of my books stolen from Meta AI. Okay. So like Beats sound is now being stolen. Robotics is actually training off of probably your videos, my videos. So we live in a world where when AI serves you up a prompt, it's probably not original. Right?
Yeah. I mean, just by nature, the definition, it's not. Yeah.
It's a synthesis of a lot of other people's thinking. And you think, well, that's fine. They're not going to know. Who cares? Well, until I found my own TEDx talk stolen. And I have, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, I literally wrote an article about it. I said, have you ever had your AI stolen? Check it out. This guy stole my TEDx talk, and I screenshotted it. So that's the first step I tell people is if you think somebody's infringed, screenshot it because that's proof. But secondly, I posted that, and a guy from Georgia, the country, filmmaker, TV, he had stolen my TEDx, and he apologized on LinkedIn and said, oh my gosh, we didn't even try to. Our team used AI to write an article, and it must have stolen your whole TEDx talk. And we apologize, and we're taking it down. So what's interesting though, Ian, if I had not protected my talk, it could be argued that he could have ran to market, launched that, and the 100 hours plus the flight to Oshkosh TEDx, plus like the travel, the coach, all the training, like it took a lot of time to do that TEDx. Technically, that was in what's called an unregistered copyright format. Okay, so we live in America where it says anything you put in a tangible form, like even a grocery list, is technically unregistered copyright. What it basically means is no proof, like no timestamp, your word against mine. Did you write that grocery list before I wrote it? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard to fight that in court. So what I was saying, and we'll get into this in a moment, but instant IP is an amazing solution based on blockchain. But all I want to say is that if people don't think they have IP, they do. If people aren't worried about their IP, just do what my friend Chris did. He didn't care, and somebody stole his technology, rushed to protect it, and locked him out of his own invention.
Yes. And you even mentioned a few examples of, the serious business owners, serious business people protect their IP,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Mr.
I see this every day. I see like a woman, let's just say her name's Krista. It's not, but Krista has a course on a certain topic. Okay, it's relationships. I won't say what relationship, but it's on protecting your relationship, improving a certain relationship. She had a student join on purpose for 597 or 997, scrape all the content, go launch her own competitive course. And if she doesn't protect it the right way, it's not hard, but if she doesn't protect it the right way, she's now in your word against my word, my lawyer against your lawyer. Is it really worth it? And for $97, in fact, there's a free version I'm going to give everyone today. They can easily scare the junk out of people
Wow.
and make the lawyers like bow and not even like say, yeah, it's not even worth fighting. We can't crack this code.
Wow. So we'll just drop that link in the description of this
Yeah.
video. So a free IP, what is that?
Yeah.
What does
Free.
that look like?
So basically, all intellectual property is based on time. Okay. So I don't own the swoosh. You don't own the arches, the golden arches, because we weren't there first.
Mm.
If I try to say, hey, just do it, swoosh, that's cool, that's mine, I'm going to get shot down because I wasn't there first. But if I could prove that I was there first with evidence, then Phil Knight might be like, well, crud, we owe you a few $1 billion. Okay. So when I started to think about IP, it wasn't like, oh, I care about IP. I really didn't. I care about books. Okay. And I love books and I love helping authors. And then I started to realize, whoa, books are intellectual property. Okay. And then I started to realize, well, how do we prove that I was there for, how does C.S. Lewis prove that he wrote that book versus somebody else? Timestamp. Okay. And it used to be a very hard, cumbersome process. In fact, if you want a patent, patents are used for inventions. Patents are around $30,000. They take 1 to 3 years. The average rejection rate, think about this, Ian. What do you think? The average rejection rate after you write 30K, send it to the government. What do you think the rejection rate is? Do you think it's like 0? What do you think it is?
25%? 25% of them get turned down?
86. 86%, they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to reject this. If you give us more money, we'll do what's called an office action. And then we'll go through another 6 months and delay the process and try to prove to the patent examiner that it's unique. And then the average is 2.6 times. Okay. So I got a patent on instant IP. It is not fun. Okay. I got two. Okay. There may be a day that somebody listening says, I'm going to patent something. Okay, great. You want to save that for like the big $1 billion idea that you have. You don't want to just
Hmm.
mess around with that. The problem is, though, if they go out and you try to patent something and they find out that the technology existed in some other format,
Hmm.
okay, you invalidate the patent. So here's the cool thing. That little free IP credit that we have that we're going to give everybody, they can invalidate a patent if they protect their idea first and someone comes after. It's called prior art. So somebody can actually use instant IP, protect something, not in 1 to 3 years, but in 60 seconds. Then they can put that IP protection as a QR code on their product or service. They can also use what's called a superscript IP. You've seen the R with the circle. Well,
Hmm.
we filed with the government a superscript IP that says that that's a certification mark. It's like Idaho potatoes. Nobody can say they have Idaho potatoes unless they come from that certifier. So
Hmm.
when we protect something on instant IP, we grant you for life a superscript IP that now you can put at the end of your phrase or your invention that tells the world this is protected with blockchain. So yeah, if people don't know, do you know what? Again, you don't have to, but do you know about blockchain a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I've probably taken three different stabs at researching it and trying to fully
Yeah,
understand it and go cross-eyed every time, but I'm sure you
exactly.
could explain it a lot more eloquently.
Yeah. So whenever I don't know the answer to something, I write a book on it. I'm not even kidding. Okay. So I wrote a book called Blockchain Life in 2022 because I said there's something here. There's something here. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And that's how I've written 14 books. I literally struggle with the problem myself. And I'm like, you know what? Let's solve that thing. Okay. So when I started studying blockchain, because I didn't know what it was, I thought it was like some chain, like literally on a block. Like
Hmm.
my mind
Yeah.
was literal, and I'm like,
Right.
where is it in the sky? Here's what it
Hmm.
basically is. It's basically says that there is a ledger, and think of a ledger as like you open your bank account, credit, debit, transaction, date,
Hmm.
next one. Okay.
Yep.
Think of a ledger that's digital, but here's the crazy thing: global, decentralized, which means that nobody is like the man on top saying, you're in, you're out, you're in. What it is it's called consensus. So basically, you spend a little crypto. Okay, it's so crypto currency and blockchain are not the same. Blockchain is the railroads that run crypto as well as many other things. But when we protect an idea, we're basically entering it on the blockchain. What happens is a smart contract's created, and nobody in the planet can ever change the details. And you might say,
Wow.
how is that even possible?
It's
Because
perfect for IP.
if they were to change any details, it would break the blocks that have been chained together of information, and it would basically say fake,
Mm.
and then it would be rejected.
And this might be a little too deep into the blockchain technology, but is there a separate blockchain for the different fields of chains, right? Is there
Mm,
like the crypto blockchain where all of the ledgers of the Bitcoin
I see
mining
what
is happening? Or is there a separate blockchain where your instant IP is
yeah.
contributing to, or is it all in just like one blockchain
So there are
ecosystem
different
or
blockchains.
okay.
We use what's called Ethereum. ETH is very popular, but we use what's
Hmm.
called a layer two called Polygon. We use Polygon because it's good for the environment. It's cheap.
Okay.
cheap gas fees. So whenever you hear
Cool.
people be like, oh, the blockchain, it takes up so much energy and all this, we're like, yeah, that's a certain blockchain. We're using a very environmentally friendly blockchain, very secure. It's called Ethereum. It's called Ethereum Layer 2,
Uh-huh.
Polygon. But here's the cool thing. Let's get into the practical use. Okay. I've been at events, you've probably been at events where I've spoken or I've seen somebody speak and I see the crowd. Okay. Let's say I'm sharing my gold. Okay. Yeah. Ian's sharing his gold about his amazing company that helps with AI strategies. And all of a sudden in the back, you see click, click,
Yeah.
click. And you're like, what is that dude doing? Like, is that dude just learning? Is that guy taking this? Is he turning it into content? We live in a world today that literally it's the speed of thought. So we say that instant IP is idea protection at the speed of thought. The word abracadabra, people like that word. They're like, I love that word. What does it mean? It means I create as I speak. Okay, it's a pretty cool word. I create as I speak. And if you're a faith guy, I'm a faith guy. It's actually made from three Hebrew words. Abba in Hebrew is father. So abracadabra actually means Father, Son, Spirit. It's kind of woo-woo. It's kind of weird.
That
It's
is.
kind of weird.
Wow.
It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. But even if you're not a faith person, like if you just think, oh, the Bible's an interesting book, it says, God said, let there be light, and there was light. In other words, I create as I speak. And so I think we're creating God's image to create as we speak, but now we better have I protect as I imagine. So we can't have copyrights, trademarks, patents. These things take at least 2 months for a copyright, patents 1 to 3 years. Copyrights are around $500 if you use a lawyer. We've already said 30K. Like that's friction. And anytime there's friction in the world, like taxis, Uber comes along. Uber comes along and says, what the heck? You used to have to stand out in the rain, wave, and try to stop a vehicle and then like see if they're busy. Like it's like mind blowing for your
Yeah.
generation. But
Yeah.
that's what my generation did. Well, now imagine you can go from smartphone to smart contract in 60 seconds. Not only have an idea, but that idea becomes an asset that can be transferred or licensed or sold. How crazy is that?
Mind blowing. And I would love to learn more about that process that you go through. Well, granted, this is your IP, right?
Yeah.
For igniting souls, of taking that idea and turning it into 18 streams of income, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
the line for igniting souls. So I'd love to learn more about that. But I think before we jump to that, I would love to finish one more thought on the
Yeah.
IP.
Sure.
Um, so I forget if this was in your TED talk or in another podcast that you were on that I listened to,
Mhm.
but you tell a
I can
story
tell it's
about a playground fence
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuck with me. So and
Yeah.
how like IP and the creation of that boundary enables more creativity and um,
Yes.
so could you explain
Yeah, I'll
that
share
metaphor
that.
and
Yeah, yeah,
why
totally.
boundaries actually give them more freedom?
Yeah. So a lot of times people think freedom is zero boundaries, but that's actually not true. Like if I have zero boundaries, I'm going to take any drug. I'm going to be an addict. I'm going to like spend whatever I want. I'm going to eat whatever I want. And like my life is going to stink. But that's what people think is freedom. Oh, but you're free. No, freedom is actually having boundaries that support your goal. Like, oh, I want to be amazingly healthy. Okay, I put boundaries in place, and guess what? I experience health freedom. I can go hike up a mountain, that type of thing. So I started to think, okay, I'm going to do this TEDx talk. IP is so hard to understand for most people because it's intangible assets, and intangible assets people don't get. So remind me about the fence in 60 seconds, but I just want other people to realize like Play-Doh has protected the scent of Play-Doh. Like it sounds nutty. Tiffany's Tiffany's has protected the blue. Like there's literally a color called Tiffany's blue. You cannot use it because they wanted to show their customers, like, if you're buying something in a Tiffany's box, it has value. And intellectual property, you think it exists for the creators and the billionaires. It actually exists for the consumer. Because if you go to the drugstore and you pick up Tylenol and you're like, well, it's got the Tylenol logo and it's got, you know, the
Yeah, that makes
ingredients.
sense.
But if I take that, if I don't have IP, I could actually get poisoned because I
Yeah,
don't
just
know
to be somebody else.
the brand. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, brand is trustworthy. It's called
that makes
brand
sense.
equity, you know? So, like,
Hmm.
IP actually exists for the consumer. So when you buy a Nike pair of shoe, it actually stands up to the Nike promise versus a fake. But let's get to the fence here. So I'm giving the TEDx talk and I'm like, how do I explain this as a metaphor? And I remember as a kid hearing this story about two kindergarten classes. Same class, they take them to two different playgrounds. They take them to one playground in a busy city with no fence, and it's got state-of-the-art equipment, and they're like, "Let's observe the kids. What are they gonna do?" So they put this classroom of kindergartners that are used to urban city, there's shots, guns going around, sirens, and none of the kids play on this expensive equipment. They just huddle around their teacher, and they're absolutely scared because there's no fence. So then they put the same group of kids and they're like, all right, we're going on another field trip. Let's go to this one. Same city, same downtown area, same equipment, but this one has a fence around the playground. And this is a true story. People can Google this. It was done by like a landscaping, um, firm, essentially.
Smart,
Yeah.
smart for them. Smart for
Yeah.
them.
So then they observe the kids, and this time they have fence, and the kids like loved the playground. They went to the edges. They were creative. They explored. They had so much fun. And I said, you know what? That's IP protection. IP protection is a fence. Now, some people think, well, I need a 50-foot fence. No, you don't. That's going to cost a ton of time, a ton of money. You might not need that 50-foot fence. Now Google might, okay? Google might, Apple might, but they didn't start there. But other people might need a trademark, or they might need a copyright, or they might need instant IP smart contract. The worst thing is to have nothing. I tell people that IP is like your house. And if you leave your front door open and say, hey, come on in, everybody, like, you will have people steal from you. So if you drive by a house, I'm told the thieves have been interviewed. They've said, if there's a security camera, if there's a guard dog inside sign, if there's a deadbolt, we're gonna skip that house because there's protection. And it's the same thing with your business. If your business has no IP protection, you're inviting thieves to come.
Yeah. And you're also restricting your own creativity, right? Because maybe you're aware of it or not, but you're going to
Yeah,
be, maybe you're naive, kind of like myself, where I don't know, maybe I've been stolen from and I'm not aware of it, but you will get burned eventually. And then that will restrict your creativity and your willingness to share and promote and share your ideas and things with the world. Um, so
absolutely. My
pretty much,
coach, Dan Sullivan, says that the number one thing an entrepreneur needs to protect is their confidence. So I say that instant IP isn't part of the creation process. It's the start of the creation process. You see, most people are like, oh, I'll publish, promote, and then, oh, if it goes really big, I'll protect it. That's the worst thing. What you want to do is you want to publish, protect,
uh-huh.
and then promote. And what happens is your confidence, like, there's things right now that I'm literally in the process of protecting, and I'm hush hush about it now.
Yeah,
'Cause, like, I know my
gotta be.
competitors, and I know that they're watching, and so, like, on purpose, I'm waiting 30 days because these things that I can't talk about, I do what's called IP stacking. So I already put them on smart contracts, and the cool thing is with instant IP, you can hide it. So
Mm,
you can go public offense, or you can go trade secret defense. So I've already put them in instant IP, and I've clicked a button that says trade secret, which creates that timestamp, just like blockchain. And that timestamp can never be changed. So nobody could come around and be like, oh, we had that idea first. I could be like, here's a smart contract. There's the hash on the blockchain. There's the immutable. Immutable means unchanging. There's the immutable timestamp. And they're like, yeah, we got nothing.
Nice. And then you're protected.
Then I'm protected.
Yeah. And I feel like, so with that lack of protection, shrinking creativity in people, like, I just think it's like, do you think that the world is losing ideas right now that never
I
get
think the
created
world's
because,
becoming what's happening is we are definitely going into camps. Okay. I tell people you need to be a creator and a consumer. But most people are saying, well, AI is the creator. I'm just the consumer. And what happens then is, you're going to basically see a lot of people just buying things instead of making money too. Like creators make money. Like, why do I have a little ring light? Because somebody created it. Why do I have an iPhone? Because somebody created it. Like you are robbing the world of your value creation if you are only consuming. And sadly, a lot of people are getting lazy. So right now, I won't date this podcast, but there's this thing right now in chat where you can basically see what you did the last year. So you go in there and at the bottom it says like, see your year in review. I just did mine last night and it said that I'm in the 3% of how I use AI. You want to know what it says here? Ready for this?
yeah.
It says that I use AI. I'm going to find the exact image here, but I already know it. But it's as a strategist.
Mm,
Okay. So like a
yeah.
lot of people are using AI and not no judgment, but they're like, turn me into candy cane. Like,
Yeah.
give me, it's like, oh my gosh, like they're just using it for entertainment. And that's not bad. But like, if you are not using the world's smartest, like you have Steve Jobs in your pocket, you have Aristotle in your pocket, you have like the world's geniuses but all it takes is the right prompt. And I know I'm probably setting you up for your business, but I should. Like, I use AI, it's not the enemy, but you better bet I click the buttons that say you can't train on me. And you better bet before I throw an image there, I throw it on instant IP first. Like, I'm really cautious, but I use AI as a strategist.
Love it. Um, Sweet. Yeah. So for the AI side of things, I would love to ask, but I'm going to
Yeah.
forget about the 18 streams of income.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to get to that first because
Yeah.
I'm super curious about that
Sure.
process, and obviously don't share anything that you can't share, but
Yeah, I'll share it, man.
tell me about the igniting souls, right? So the idea of turning your
Your book.
idea or your book into 18 streams of income
Yeah.
is fascinating. So how does that work?
It happened by means of survival. And what I mean by that is I was a pastor for since 2000 and I wrote book 1, I wrote book 2, I wrote book 3, I wrote book 4, and I'm praying, I'm like, God, why are my books not crushing it? Like, I got a kid who's 5, 3, and 1, got a wife, got healthcare, got salary, like I'm trying to make it. I'm writing all these books. Like, why is it not happening? And then with my 4th book, not to get a little woo woo, but I'll get a little woo woo here. With my 4th book, I feel like before I start it in my prayer time, I feel like God's saying, write the scary book. And I'm like, heck no, I'm not writing the scary book because the scary book is my struggles with depression and self injury as a young adult. And I'm like, I'm not telling that story because if I tell that story, and look, it's so old, I have hair. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm like, I'm not writing that book because if I write that book, the church may kick me out. People think less of me. Like it was all me, 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 me. And this is a big lesson for your people. If you are hesitant to share your pain, you're actually robbing your future client from transformation. So like, why are people buying from you? Because you solve problems. And yet you think, not you, but your listeners think, but I don't need to share my story or my problems. I just want to come in as the service provider. And so you lose the connection of empathy. this person understands me. You become this removed Sherpa, sage instead of Sherpa. So just to go a little Donald Miller story brand on you, people want a Sherpa. So I tell people when they write their book, they can either write as a sage from the stage up on top of the mountain. You come up, climb, meet me up at the top, learn, sit at my feet, or I'll be the Sherpa. I've made it up the mountain, but I'm going to come back down. I'm going to help you. You're the hero. I'm the guide, but I'm going to show you the steps. Those are chapters in a book. Those are modules in a lesson. Those are points in a keynote. Those are the rocks that you cross the stream with. Okay. Or you can even make money, believe it or not, as a struggler. That says, look, I don't even know the solution, but I'm willing to admit that there's a problem. Like my kid has, making this up, like my kid has autism. I don't know how to figure it out. Let's learn together. Watch me on social media. I'm going to show you what works, what doesn't. Oh, and by the way, hey, I figured out a solution. Let's do a little course. Join my group. Like you can actually make money as a sage, a Sherpa, or a struggler. But I think the best for 18 streams of income is a Sherpa. So what I did is I said, I used to struggle with depression and self-injury because I didn't know who I was. So in this book, I'm going to show you how to find out who you are. And then what happened is, without even me trying, Ian, because I have a lot of ideas don't work. But people said, well, do you have a talk on that? Can you come speak to our college chapel? We read the book, but can you coach us through it? What about a conference? Like, what if you built a whole conference around this? So like literally the 18 streams of income came out of that book called Your Secret Name, not because I wanted to go pro and replace my income, but because people said that solution helped me. Now I need it in other formats. Yeah.
Nice. So with Igniting Souls, your publishing company, you help these authors turn their lessons that they're teaching in their books or their book into these 18 different formats that they can then monetize.
Absolutely. And I'm a big visual guy, so I know, is this on YouTube? Is this a video too?
Yep.
I'm going to show a slide, and if I can do that.
And I think the share button down.
Yeah. Here's how people can see those 18 streams of income. Okay. So like softcover, hardcover, ebook, audiobook, self-study, live coaching, certifications, big time. Okay. Keynote speech, content marketing, launch team membership. So these are all the different 18 streams of income. But then to go back to another slide really quick, we call this the EOS, where Entrepreneur Operating System, they have what's called a proven process. Anyway, every business has a proven process if they are good. Unfortunately, it's in most people's head, and they never write it out. And so this is our proven process. Basically, Igniting Souls, we do a right fit clarity call. We're looking for abundant-minded, coachable, competent entrepreneurs. We try to be the buyer. That's interesting. So we don't sell. Like I'm not on the call being like, I hope you buy. I'm actually saying like, hey, we don't have endless time. Why do you think we should work with you? Like I'm not arrogant about it or anything, but I'm like, why do you think you want to work with us? And they almost have to qualify themselves. Like if there's any energy where I'm having to convince them, we stop it right there because this just doesn't work. And then we publish the intellectual property. And when I say publish, they might hand us a finished manuscript, or we might pair them up with one of our ghostwriters, and we basically interview them and extract their genius. And here's the problem, Ian. This is true for most of your listeners. They're too smart that they've gotten used to their IP. So they don't think it's special anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
In other words, there's a quote that says, you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. It's too familiar. And so what we have to show the author is like, oh my gosh, what you just said is amazing. Maybe let's tweak a few words so it's unique, but that's genius. So then we publish it, and then immediately, I'm talking like on the call, because it takes 60 seconds, we might actually protect that thing. right then and there. All you need to do is name it and describe it. And the reason why we do that is so that the promotion can start immediately. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about this.
Love it.
You're on social media, I'm on social media. Who do you think is going to get more engagement? The young lady who says, you know what? I just had a baby last night. Here's a picture. Sweet. Is she going to get a lot of engagement? Or the young lady who says, we just found out we're pregnant. Gender reveal. We're picking the baby's name, vote. We're picking out the nursery. What do you think? Here's the baby's first outfit when they come home from the hospital. We're getting all ready. Now we had the baby. Who do you think is going to get more?
Second one. By
Second
far.
one, because they promoted all along the way. It's the
Nice.
same thing with books. If you have an author who's like, hey, I just had a baby last night. Here's my book. What do you think? People will be like, sweet. But if I take
Congrats.
people along the way and say,
Yeah.
like, Ian, let's just say I do a quick video and I'm like, oh my gosh, folks, I just wrote chapter 1. It's amazing. Let me tell you about this framework we developed and blah, 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 blah. You might have people say, Ian, we need to have you come speak in the, in the month. Like, you might actually start earning income from your book before it even launches because you went publish, protect, promote as a flywheel.
Smart. And the protect is so important there because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do that promotion. Otherwise, then you got people who are going to, okay, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. And then now I'm going to do the IP and lock you out. Okay.
Exactly.
I see how it all fits together.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Very cool. I mean, that's just amazing stuff. But so I guess like kind of a final tactical thing right now, right? You made the point that most people are in the jar, right? They can't see the label. They can't see how amazing their ideas are and how they should be protecting it, that they actually have IP. And, you know, you led with the clarification that most people misunderstand what IP is and don't think that they have intellectual property. But anyways, if I'm a coach or creator listening right now, what are the top things that you would tell me to protect first, and in what order? Like maybe I'm a coach who has a course. Oh, you got a slide on this? There you go. There you go. There, perfect.
So again, most people, is this getting big when I do this?
Yep.
Or no?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, zoom
so
in.
Yeah. So most people are like, I don't have any IP, and then you're like, okay, do you have like a pricing model? And they're like, yeah, I got like a gold, silver, bronze package that offers this, this, and this. That's IP. Like, that's a unique way of offering value to your clients that nobody else has. Okay. What about a lead magnet? What about a brochure, a booklet, a webinar, a slide deck, a publication? What about a website? You know, what about agreements that you have, products, terms and service and policies? That costs a ton of money, man. Like, you know, you might have unique terms and services, proprietary platforms, right? Like, you can probably see this, and this is just a start. Do you see any IP that you're like, dang?
Yeah, my slide deck, like when you were talking about people when they're just taking pictures, that happens every single time that I present.
Are you serious?
Every single time that I present. So like
So
that's something that
watch this. At a minimum, you can do this. We have speakers now all over the planet doing this first slide. Oh, you're gonna love this, Ian. Watch this, and we'll read it for the people who are listening. Can you see this? All right. Imagine, I'll read it. Okay, so let's say I'm here speaking today, and I say, hi, my name's Ian, and I am going to give my absolute best today to you. I'm going to give you a ton of gold. You have permission to take pictures of my slides. You probably might have done so without anyway, but know that everything that I'm going to share in my presentation has been protected by instant IP via blockchain technology and smart contracts. So any use or reproduction without our written permission is punishable by law. Let's get started today. Now,
nice.
Ian, I said that friendly. I didn't say it defensive. What do you think happens in the brains and emotions of people sitting there?
Start taking you a lot more seriously, for sure. Establishes a ton of authority. People are like, wow, this guy's legit. He's got IP on his stuff. Like, that's wild.
It's amazing. So you're going to get a ton of people to like instant credibility, instant value. I got to work with this guy. I gotta rush the stage. I gotta hire this guy.
Yeah, right.
He takes himself seriously, so I'm gonna take him seriously. But then the other thing is like, holy crud, I better not steal this dude's stuff. Cause
Yeah.
like if I do, he's put a fence around it. I'm dead.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of things that as we've been talking, I've realized that I've been a little too loose with a lot of the stuff that I've
And that's
created. Like,
okay.
yeah,
That's okay. Like it took me people, it takes people stealing from you
right.
to like wake up. And you're not, I want everybody listening, like this is new. Like we are entering all of human history. You know, the S&P 500, the 500 most valuable brands on the planet. Up until 1975, the 500 most valuable brands, only 17% was IP. Okay. So 83% since human history, the most we've ever had IPB was 17%. And then in 2026, it's between 90 and 96%. So, like, you're in a time in human history where you can move IP with a click. Like, you can literally take a framework that's earned you millions of dollars and hit attach, and now all of a sudden your competitor has it. So, like, the way property is moving is a brand new thing. And so I'm honored to be like, we have a solution. And you know, Ian, this solution was not cheap. Like, it took me, we're going on 5 years of my life and over $1 million of my own money. Like, I funded it because I'm like, this is the future. This is the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. Absolutely. I see it. And it's something that, it's not like super expensive, right? It's
No,
$97. Like it's,
$97, get your first one
yeah.
free if you love them.
Yeah.
And here's the brand new thing we just started for the new year, a subscription model. If you say, Kary,
Nice.
I think I'm gonna do 5 credits a month, like cancel anytime. What we're gonna say is you're serious. So I'm gonna give you the community for free. And I'm gonna give you 2 coaching calls a month with me for free in a small group setting. So like now it's called the IP lab because AI has labs. So we better have
Right.
our own, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. Kary, thank you so much. You've been generous with your time. I have one last question for you. Obviously, my business is implement AI, right? So I work with a lot of coaches and course creators to help them implement AI into their programs.
Love it.
But how do you work with thousands of info product creators, right? Authors, coaches, course creators, people like that. How do you feel that coaches, info product creators, we can just call them, should be using AI like responsibly? Um, like how should they be thinking about AI and using
Yeah.
AI within their
I would
business?
say I
And
would say number 1 as a thinking partner. Like I think that's probably how I use AI the most. And like prompts could be, hey, there's a lot of coaches out there who coach on fitness. You know a lot about me, Chat GPT or Claude or whatever. Based upon all of our chats that we've ever had, how do you think I differentiate myself in the marketplace based upon the topic of fitness for high-end people who want one-on-one time? Boom. I mean, that's like a prompt that's going to just, be your thinking partner.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, if nobody's aware of it, but there's a voice to chat feature, so you don't have to sit there and type everything out, but you can just record a voice message for 5 minutes where you just wander around with your thoughts and then you just, add a little help me distill these ideas or
Yeah.
what do you think about these ideas? Yeah, it's amazing. Like I've done that countless times where I just have a empty whiteboard and then I have ChatGPT open or Claude open and I just record
Yeah.
like voice chat after voice chat after voice chat to help me like think through these things that I'm working on, whether that's like my presentation or the business plan or whatever. But yeah, it's amazing. And would love like your quick feedback on this. So like the issue that I identified, like the problem that I identified with info products started
Mhm.
personally from for me. And it was I've always been a voracious reader and invest in a bunch of coaching programs, courses, but I always struggled with like I never struggled with consuming them. Like I read a lot, highlight, take notes, watch all the videos, show up to all the group calls. But when it came to actually doing the work that the coaches or the
Mhm.
author assigned to me, I would stall out. Or like I'm reading the book and it's like, okay, now go do this work. I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And then I just keep reading, right? And I'm like, oh, I finished another book, but how much of the work did I actually do? Like none
Yeah.
of it. Um, so I started building these companion agents or these companion
Mm,
GPTs that were built to guide me through doing the work that these books
I
assigned to
love
me
that.
or the coaching program assigned to me. So it made it much easier for me to do it. So then I did it. There was less friction. So I actually did the work, got the value, got the transformation that the book coaching program course promised. Now I'm a bigger fan of theirs, right? I buy more of their stuff. So that's kind of what I build for the info product creators. I don't know. Is that like a use case that you've seen
I think it's
happening?
amazing. And when we end in a minute, I'm going to share some IP that I think that you could have because I think you just said some gold. And I think if you protect it, um, I haven't seen anybody on the planet have it yet. So I think you could do it. But I got to give a shout
Cool.
out to you because, I saw you in a different business and you absolutely crushed it. My sister introduced me to you, and I've been very impressed with all that you've been doing. So I would encourage people, yeah, if they're at all interested in how to leverage AI and it feels overwhelming and they want practical integration, definitely look up Ian's company and work with him.
I appreciate that, Kary. Thanks so much. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
And that is a wrap on my conversation with Kary Oberbrunner. Here are my three main takeaways from the conversation. First is you have way more IP than you think you do. It's not just books and patents. It's your slide decks, your frameworks, your packages, your lead magnets, your naming, your offers, even the way that you deliver your work. If it differentiates you, it counts as IP and you should protect it. Second, the risk is not just somebody else copying and using the same idea as you. The real risk is that they then protect it and lock you out of it. In the AI era, speed matters and ownership matters even more. So don't find yourself in that situation where you're getting a letter in the mail saying that you're no longer able to use the idea that you came up with because somebody else protected it before you did. And finally, I loved Kary's fence metaphor. Boundaries don't restrict creativity, they enable it. When creators feel protected, they share more, they build faster, and they create with more confidence. Now, if you want to take action, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Kary shared a free credit for instant IP so you can protect one idea right away for free. That link is in the description. Make sure you follow Kary on social media as well. All of his links will be down there additionally. And finally, if you're a coach, course creator, or operator trying to implement AI into your business in a practical way, you can grab my free AI implementation toolkit in the link in the description. It'll just have everything that you need in order to build out useful AI in your business on your own for free. Well, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you're new here, hit subscribe. It's free, and you can always change your mind. I'll see you in the next one.